live everywhere. And hello to you guys. Now, for those of you who are watching me on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, the camera, you know that last week I had some problems with my camera. It's not fixed. I'm just going to have to buy a webcam. I think I'm just going to have to do that. It's pretty much dark in the studio room here, pretty much dark. I apologize. I know it's a little dark on the screen on TikTok. There's just not a whole lot I can do about that. Because if I turn the lights up, then the people on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, it's like, whoa, it's like all of a sudden the sun just shined. So right now it's a happy medium, but I promise you I will be getting me a good webcam to kind of bypass the camera that's on the iMac. It's an old iMac. And, you know, things like that's going to happen. You know, this is an old iMac. And but it's still working. It's still kicking. But it just things are gonna start falling apart. Yeah, it's just the way it goes. You know, when you have technology and it's old, it happens, you know. And so when things update, technology updates, and you have an old computer system, it can't update with the new technology, and so therefore things fall apart. That's the way it goes. Okay, but we are live, and it just gives a spooky vibe. It does on TikTok, doesn't it? It's pretty cool. All right, I hope that you guys are having a great evening, and welcome to all you folks who are here for our paranormal show. Yep, and I appreciate all of you, and thank you again for on TikTok. Thank you for the gifts. Those are individuals who are offering the gifts to the ministry. Thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate that, truly do. And so do the people that you're helping. And for the individuals on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter or wherever, you can go to bishopjameslong.com, bishopjameslong.com, and you can make whatever donation to the ministry that you want. And it's greatly appreciated. It truly is. Because as you all know, I am Bishop James Long, and I am with the United States Old Catholic Church. Now, my ministry, it's completely free. I never charge, never will. And I do this ministry because it's a ministry. And so it's free, and I shouldn't charge, and I don't. But it's difficult to help people because I don't receive a salary as being clergy. This is 100% free. Everything that I'm doing is free. Even being clergy is free. And so that I don't receive a salary or a stipend or housing allowance. I teach English online, and that's how I pay my bills. And that is also how I pay for my own ministry. So if someone lives in California or Florida or Texas, and I have to drive down there or fly over there, I have to pay for it out of my own pocket. That's a lot. And so the only way that I can do that, the only way is I have an online store, and even then, it doesn't take care of all the expenses. It just simply doesn't. And on average, I spend about $1,000 to $1,500 of my own money every single month. And I've been doing that now. I've been doing this for 20 years. So yeah, it can be quite expensive because I don't generate enough, obviously, donations, and I don't sell enough to cover really all the costs. I just simply don't. But I do the best I can. And so I appreciate all of you who are willing to help fund this ministry so I can keep going. I know a lot of people say, well, you know, it doesn't really affect me. So I mean, but you got to understand, these are people who contact me who have some serious activity in their home, and they're terrified. They are terrified. And most people are living paycheck to paycheck. And so I feel it's unethical for me to then tell someone, well, you have to pay $5,000 for me to get to your home when where they're barely putting food on the table, and they're scared. And so the only way that I can do it is to do fundraising. And so that's how I get to these people's homes. So again, you can go to bishopjameslong, LONG.com. You can go to the store link. By the way, I have ordered a shipment of the Benedictine bracelets. They will be arriving probably within a week or so. People love them. They absolutely love them. So they will be coming in. And once they do, I'll let you guys know. People really like those Benedictine bracelets. So I will make sure to let you guys know. But there's also items there you can purchase now. Okay. So there we go. Brody, let me tell you something. Brody, on YouTube, let me tell you something, guys. There's no greater compliment than someone can give you, or at least me, when someone says to me, Bishop Long, you've helped me grow closer to God. I mean, that puts tears in my eyes. That gets to me. Because this ministry is difficult. It is difficult to constantly have to fundraise, to constantly have to tell people I can't get to their home because I can't afford to spend $1,500 that month to travel and fly and rent a car. And that's the hardest part of this ministry. And I'm a human being. And that really does. Sometimes I think to myself, am I just beating myself to death because I can't get to people's homes? Am I making a difference? And when Brody said something to me, and Jimmy Lynn, thank you. That's very kind. But Brody said, you helped me keep faith in God. Thank you so much. I've struggled through so much pain, and Jesus is making me stronger. I tell you what, guys, there's no greater compliment. There's no greater compliment than someone can give you, that you've helped them grow closer to God. That is, that's powerful. To me, that's powerful. And so I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And thank you, Jimmy Lynn. Thank you all. And Joe, and thank you all, you guys. I really appreciate that. It's actually, I don't know if you are aware of this, but when you receive compliments like that, or when I do, that gives me the energy to keep pushing forward. Not because of ego and I want to hear the compliments, but because I'm human like everybody else. And I have my good days and I have my bad days. And when I think, when I have to tell somebody on the phone that I can't help them because I can't get to them because it's too expensive, the demonic is creeping in, trying to steal my joy and my happiness for being in this ministry. And it takes a toll. It takes a toll. Honest, and I've told you this before, the hardest part of this ministry is not dealing with demons. That's not the hardest part of this ministry. The hardest part is when I'm speaking to someone on the phone and they're terrified and they are in tears and they're begging me to get to their home. And I'm looking at my bills and I'm looking at my checkbook and I'm looking at trying to figure, well, how can I? And I can't. I don't have the funds. That's the hardest part of this ministry. That's the hardest part. So, but we keep pushing through. That's what we do. We keep the faith. I put my faith in God, and I push forward. And we make it happen. Somehow we make it happen. And but I appreciate all you guys again on TikTok. I have lost. Well, thank you, Patricia. And of course you know that your sister is sleeping peacefully with God. No question about that. Okay. I know that a lot of you are stressed right now because of the Ukraine situation and the Russia situation. I know this. I'm aware of it. It has bothered me too, because I have clergy friends in Ukraine. We're not going to talk about Ukraine tonight. We're not going to talk about Russia. We're not going to talk about the stress, because a lot of you are stressed out as it is. Tonight, we're going to talk paranormal stuff. It's Paranormal Fridays. We're going to have a good time. I'm going to try to help get your mind off of the Ukraine situation just for a little bit. And we're going to have entertainment hour. That's what we're going to do. And thank you, Arlene, and thank you to all you guys. I really appreciate that. I have reached out to quite a few individuals. Some people do reply, some people don't. I've spoken to an individual that my sister Emily told me about, and they had some problems in their home. They currently are living in Nebraska, and obviously I can't get to Nebraska, but we're going to try to work on that issue. They've made TikTok videos, and they've had some pretty serious issues in their home. There are some individuals in Philadelphia that have actually fled their home. And so there's a couple of folks right now that need immediate attention. So we're going to do the best we can. All right. So tonight, we're going to talk about demonology. We're going to talk about the paranormal. We're going to talk about possession. We're going to talk about, and thank you very much for the gifts on TikTok. I sincerely appreciate that. If I don't thank each individual one, it's not because I'm being rude. It's because I'm looking at two different screens and I just didn't see it. So thank you to all you guys. Okay. Oh, that's a good question. Queen, thank you so much for no. Take Queen off. Don't no. Unmute Queen. Unmute Queen. That wasn't an offensive. Someone please unmute Queen on TikTok. So whoever unmuted her, or whoever muted Queen, please fix that on TikTok, because what Queen is saying, Queen had mentioned that did I reach out to her because they thought there was a scammer. That wasn't being disrespectful. That was actually a legitimate question. So whoever muted Queen, please unmute her on TikTok. I just saw someone muted her. Unfortunately, on TikTok, there are individuals who are stealing my identity and my picture and my name, and they're creating fake profiles. And then they're contacting people on TikTok and they're asking them for money. Well, that's number one. It's against the law. It's illegal. And I have reported them multiple times. And for some reason, TikTok is not deleting those profiles, and I don't understand why. I've reported them so many times. I've even put videos on to my TikTok, and I've pinned it to my profile that this is the only account that I have. I don't have any other account. And anybody who claims that they're Bishop James Long and they contact you and ask you for money, it's a fraud. I've done everything that I can to let people know about it. I've done everything. And I reported them. I can't do anything else. So actually, the Queen was not being disrespectful. That was a legitimate question. Well, that's pretty. Thank you very much. Oh, sorry, there's someone did something. Thank you very much. Very kind. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. The mods have to work so fast. Sometimes they have to make quick decisions. Yeah, you're right. Right. And it is because it goes by so fast. All right. You've got to get a blue check. You know what, Jay, was it Jay Lawton 911? I have asked them for a blue check to be, I don't know how to do it. I've asked them repeatedly. I've sent messages to TikTok to, I don't know what the blue check stands for. I forgot the name. Verify or your account or something. I don't know. But I've done that multiple times. I've asked them. I've pleaded with them. Please verify, put a little blue check on my account, on my TikTok account, because people are using my name and they're pretending to be me and they're ripping people off. I've explained this. I've already sent 15 different requests already. Please verify my account. That way people know. Still nothing. You're right. I do need one. So if you can help me get one, please do, because I've asked. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. I know that's a little bit of the business part of the doing these shows, and I have to keep people up to date. So there we go. All right. Let's see. Okay, good. That's a good question. He hate me 1985. Well, I'm sorry, who hates you? But they were asking, what about a bishop? And so you're a priest, and then you're a bishop. Then what? Then what's after that? That's actually it. I study for the. I do, Brandon. I most certainly pray the rosary. Every day I pray the rosary, but I studied for the Roman Catholic priesthood for 6 years. I went to the Roman seminary. I loved it. It was a wonderful. I loved it, but. I just, as the years progressed, the idea that I would have to preach against women ordination, the idea that I would have to preach against married clergy, the idea that I would have to preach against LGBTQ, for me, I had problems with that. And I didn't want to be a hypocrite. I didn't want to live the rest of my life teaching something that I didn't believe. I couldn't do it. And so I decided that it was time for me to make the decision to either continue on the journey or to follow my heart. And through prayer, I truly felt that God was calling me to serve within the Old Catholic Church. Now, the Old Catholic Church branched away from the Roman Catholic Church over in 1890s, officially over papal infallibility. And so within the Old Catholic Church, there are many different jurisdictions. So there's the United States Old Catholic Church. There's a bunch of, Old Catholic communities. Some are very liberal. Some are very conservative. Some are moderate. There are some Old Catholic Church communities that will ordain women, and there are some that will not. Some will ordain people who are LGBTQ. Some will not. So it just depends on each jurisdiction. Okay. A verified identity. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you. Yeah, I wish I could get the verified, account, but I don't know. So anyway, there we go. That's what. Now, with us, with the United States Old Catholic Church, we can choose to be married, or we can be celibate. It is a choice. I have taken a vow of celibacy, and that is how I live my life, and I'm quite content, and I'm happy being a celibate man. Other people, they choose to, be in a relationship. That's fine. That's great. That's great. But must they all attend the Roman Catholic Seminary? Oh, no, true searcher. No, I'm just giving you my background. That way because people are asking me about my background. Jordan, how do you become a Benedictine? Well, I am a Benedictine. You can contact me. You can go to my website, Bishop James Long, and I think there's a little chat, and you can send a message there. Or if there's not, go to usocc.org. And that's the name of the church, the United States Old Catholic Church. So go to usocc.org. And I do believe there's a little chat there on the front page, and just send the email, and then we'll contact you, and we'll start with the Benedictines, okay? All right. How do I stay pure in my walk? My faith in God is unwavering. Unwavering. There's nothing that anyone can offer me or do to me that will make my faith waver or walk away from God. Nothing. So, and that's a good question. I especially because when you see demonic possession, it can take a toll. I worked a case for 3 years. I had her on the show. I had the daughter of her name was Angie, and her mom had dealt with a terrible incubus case. An incubus case is a demonic entity that will attack you on a sexual nature. It's very violent. And I actually had her on the show, and she talked about her mom's situation. That was a tough case because I grew to love her mom. I grew to love Angie. I grew to love her family. And I truly did. I loved them. I still do. And that was a difficult case because what I saw and what I witnessed and her mom go through, and then I followed all the procedures, everything I was supposed to do, and her mom wasn't getting delivered from this attack. And I was so mad. I was so frustrated. And I went to my mentor, and I said, I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this. And then my mentor told me to get off the cross and let Jesus have a try. That's what he said. And that was a kind of like a smack, and I needed that. I needed that because I was beginning to get so emotionally stressed out over this case that I was beginning to even wonder if I should even continue this ministry because I was not helping. And he said, the problem is you're not doing anything. This person is going to be delivered in God's time, not yours. So you continue to do what you're supposed to do and stop thinking that you're going to be the savior, because that's not your job. Your job is to be there, to help the family, to be with her, to continue the ritual, to continue to bless the homes. And when God delivers them, it will be in God's time, not yours. And that was important. That was a very, very important message that I needed. Okay. All right. Diego is asking about skinwalkers. We actually did a show not too long about skinwalkers. And Diego's asking, are they shape shifting witches or just superstition? Diego, I got to be honest with you. I've studied skinwalkers. I have had no cases of skinwalkers. So I can't really talk a whole lot about the data. Well, as an exorcist, I performed 30 exorcisms and I performed thousands of home blessings in 20 years, thousands. I can tell you what I've seen regarding that and the exorcisms that I performed and the home blessings that I've done. But I have never come across an actual case of skinwalkers. Now, there's an individual, Diego, if you're interested, or any of you, if you're interested in skinwalkers, you can contact Willie Windwalker Gibson. He is a shaman, and he's had quite a few cases of skinwalkers, and he's on Facebook. But Willie Gibson is his name, and he's also an author and very, very, very respected in the paranormal community. His name is Willie Windwalker Gibson. Okay. Oh yeah, people with near-death experiences and experiencing heaven differently. It's interesting, but I tell you what, though, I had Dr. Jeffrey Long. Thank you, Janine. Thank you. I had Dr. Long, Dr. Jeffrey Long, who's a what's going on with your show you were supposed to be on? Angie, I am on. Angie 3087. You're asking what's going on with your show you were supposed to be on. Well, Angie, can you help me out with that question? I'm not 100% sure what that means because I am on. We're live. This is live. So the skinwalker things I just don't know, but you can contact Willie Windwalker. I forgot my point there that I was trying to say. Oh, the filming. Yeah, I will actually be. I will not. That's in April. So I will not be filming. I will not be doing a Sacred Division show. That's I think it's April 20th or so. Let me double check real quick. But that's plenty of time. I'll let everybody know. But it is. Let's see, April, blah, blah, blah. Right. Yeah, it's the 21st. No, I'm sorry, the 20th. That's Wednesday. The 22nd is, okay. I believe on, whatever. Anyway, I'll let you guys know, but that's in April. Yep. Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Someone was asking me about, would you put his name? Yeah, sure will. Willie Windwalker Gibson. Let me type that in. Willie Windwalker Gibson. There you go. That is his name. And Gibson is Gibson. So if you need, if you need the shaman, then I would suggest definitely contacting Willie because again, he's been in the paranormal for a long time. He's highly, highly respected in the field. And, but yeah, someone was asking about near-death experience. What I would strongly encourage you to do also, if you want to know about near-death experience, is go to NDERF, NDERF.org. There you go. That's the website. ND as in dog, ERF.org. That's the world's largest collection of people who have clinically died and who have come back to tell the story. I've had Dr. Jeffrey Long, who is a medical doctor. He is actually a doctor, and he is the owner of this organization. And he talks about people who have clinically died and who have experienced many different things, some good, some bad. And so pretty impressive stuff. I actually had a near-death experience when I was having my an upper scope done. I saw my mom, who had passed away in 2000. She passed away in 2014, and this procedure was done in 2015. And I saw her, and I talked to Dr. Long about this. I've talked to you guys about this, and there's no question. He was absolutely convinced that something happened during that procedure, where I must have clinically died, because apparently, after, and I'll briefly. And I know because a lot of people haven't heard the story. So just, if you would, just indulge me for a second, because I think this is important. This was a scope done. And I remember, so that they put the stuff on and the propofol, they put me out. I remember, and then I heard this really loud noise behind me, and I opened my eyes. Now, of course, this was it was an out of body, I guess, but I can't really say that because it was like this, like I'm talking to you now. It was that type of reality. It wasn't dream. I know what a dream is. This wasn't a dream. I was actually there, and I opened my eyes and I saw the doctor. He was freaking out, and I didn't turn around, and it didn't dawn on me that I was the patient. Never ever dawned on me at all. And he was really just like, and he was barking. He was telling this person behind. He was doing something, and there's a really loud machine going, or something was going off behind me, annoying. And I saw this very bright light right behind the doctor. It was, oh my gosh, it was incredible. And I saw this silhouette walking right behind him. Beautiful. She looked like an angel. She came into vision. I could see her, and I thought, my God, she's beautiful. She radiating. I mean, she was radiating. And I kept looking at her closer and closer. I thought, I know her. And it finally dawned on me. I was like, that's Mom. She looked like a little far. I mean, she looked like she was in her 20s. I mean, she was young, just the radiating beauty of it. And she put her hand on his shoulder. He took a deep breath. And then he did something. He pointed right behind me to, I guess, somebody behind me. I didn't. And then the machine, whatever that noise was going off, finally stopped. And then he did something, and she smiled at me and nodded and faded away. Well, apparently, when I came to in the recovery room, I was very animated, and I was telling my sister Jennifer, I saw Mom. And Jennifer was like, Jane, we know you saw Mom. You were screaming it at the top of your lungs. You wouldn't shut up. From the operating room to the recovery room, you were screaming and you wouldn't stop. Now, I have no memory of that. But obviously, because I was still under anesthesia. But I was really yelling it. But I told her, I described what Mom looked like and everything. And I talked to Dr. Long about this. He said, first of all, there's no doubt in my mind that you clinically died. No doubt. And he said, I'll tell you why. Number one, there's no such thing. There is no such thing as dreaming in propofol. It's 0% chance. Zero. It doesn't exist. It can't happen. And he said, furthermore, your mom was in the medical field, and obviously something was happening. And she put her hand on his shoulder to kind of help the doctor make the decision on what to do. He took that deep breath. As soon as she put the hand on his shoulder, he took that deep breath, just like that. And things calmed down. And he said the fact that she was in the medical field, she was guiding him. And he also said, the fact that you were screaming at the top of your lungs, that you saw your mother on the way from the recovery room or the operating room to the recovery room, you couldn't have faked that because you're under anesthesia. He said there's no way that could have been faked because you're not aware of even what you're doing. Something happened. That's what he told me. And I absolutely am convinced, without question, I am convinced that something happened on that procedure where I must have flatlined. And I saw my mom. I know it was not a dream. I know the difference between a dream, and you can't dream anyway. And the fact that I was screaming that I saw Mom from the operating room to the recovery room, there's no doubt in my mind. I remember it as like it was yesterday. So it was very powerful. It truly was very powerful. And that was an experience I'll never forget. Never, ever, ever will I forget that. But that was in 2015, and she passed away in 2014. Well, how do I correlate that with scripture? Well, because I think that it just simply wasn't my time yet. And it was just, my mom was assisting this physician and helping. It wasn't my time. And that's okay. But the scripture talks about how heaven is beautiful and it is glorious. And I do absolutely believe I truly believe without a doubt that our loved ones can indeed visit us. I have no doubt about that. None. And we were talking about the topic for the presentation is, how do you know the difference then between a demonic entity versus a loved one that's visiting you? Well, that's a good question, and it's something that's important that we need to talk about. So let's just make this: can a demonic entity, and I'll answer some of your questions in just a moment. But I'm sorry, Gordo, I'm sorry I can't bring you into the live. I apologize for that, and the reason is because the people on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter won't be able to hear you or see you, because TikTok doesn't allow third-party applications to connect. So I'm sorry about that, but I can't bring you into the show. Can a demonic entity mimic the smell and even a child to make you think that in fact you are seeing a loved one or a child? Absolutely, positively, without question. Without question, they can, and they will. One of the things that demonic entities will do, especially if you're an investigator or if you do something, again, Beatrice, I've just said I can't bring you in, so I can't bring you guys in. Matter of fact, I'm going to just turn off invites for this live because I just said I can't invite you. Let me just say this. A demonic entity often will create a facade and to make you think that you're actually communicating with a child. They do this often. People who play with Ouija boards don't play with Ouija boards. Got a little gnat in here. I hate gnats. I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely hate gnats. I know. They're God created them. I know, I get it, but still I don't like them because I don't want this darn thing flying around. Of course, it happens right during the show, of course. But what people have, this has happened quite often, is that individuals will tell me that they played with the Ouija board, and the message that they're getting from this Ouija board is that a child came through. It could be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Who knows? It was a child. They thought it was a child, and they began continuing to communicate with this, what they perceived as a child, and it actually was not. It was a demonic entity. Let me just give you this clue, folks. A demonic entity is not going to give you its name on a Ouija board. I want everybody to hear that. The idea that a demonic entity will give you its name freely on a Ouija board or whatever is incorrect. Absolutely 1,000,000% is incorrect. People have asked me all the time about a particular demonic entity. Now, we do not mention demon names in this show or any show that I do. That is a form of summoning. It is a form of acknowledgement. So therefore, that's one of the rules that we have. We do not mention demon names in the chat, period. We don't do it. There's nothing good that comes from that in the first place. And that is an acknowledgement that they exist. They now know that you exist. You have now made a communication, a connection with that demonic entity. We do not mention demonic entities' names. And thank you very much, Lorraine. Thank you. So what happens, anybody who ever tells you that a demon gave you its name on a Ouija board, no, they didn't. It just simply, because the moment that you know the demonic's name, you know its identity, you now can control that demonic. That demonic is not going to give you the control over it. It's just simply not going to do it. That's why during the solemn rite of exorcism, we command, and the exorcist will command the demon to reveal its name. We don't ask out of permission or kindness. We command it in the name of Christ to give its name, to surrender its name. Once we have its name, then we understand what type of demonic entity we're dealing with. And we also know during that time that the intellect and will of the demon is now being eradicated. They will not ever freely give you its name. They won't do it. Now, what they will often do is pretend to be sometimes even your loved one. Many times they will pretend to be a child. And the reason being is because that lets your guard down. Because if you think that you're talking to a child, oh, that's so cute. That's so cute. Well, what's your name? Sally. How old are you, Sally? 8. Oh, Sally. Well, can you do this for me, Sally? That's invitation. Something so simple. That's the invitation that the demonic needs. That's it. That's all it needs. And once you've done that, once you've given the invitation to do something, to make a noise, to touch somebody, to turn the lights off, that's all under complete false pretenses. But remember, demonic entities don't play fair. They don't abide by ethical, moral standards. They violate every ethical and moral standard you can possibly imagine and more. And they're not stupid. They know human nature very well. They know our weaknesses. And so they're going to prey on those weaknesses and cause you to sometimes trip up, and then they just reel you in. And now you have a major issue. And so the people say, well, then how do we communicate with our loved one? I mean, is it bad to use a Ouija board to communicate with our loved one? Can we use this to communicate? Folks, listen to me. I understand. I get it. I understand the desire to want to be able to have one more word with your loved one. Just one more word, one more message. I understand. But so do demonic entities. And they will prey on that. So the moment that you begin to use any type of device to communicate with the deceased, and you're hoping to communicate with the loved one, that is demonic. They will take advantage of that situation, and they will use that advantage for their benefit. You don't need to use a device to communicate with your loved one. Please don't do that. Just don't. And I understand the desire to want to, but just don't. If they love God, if they love people, and if they try to treat people as nice as they can, and they were kind, they were loving, then just give it over to God. Give all your worries, your concern, give it over to God. And just know that God has them under his care and his love. That's good enough. That's good enough. Don't begin to start going down the rabbit hole and using things to communicate or try to communicate with your loved ones, because the moment that you do that, I'm telling you, the moment you do that, that's where the danger lies. Because you don't know who you're communicating with. Remember, demonic entities, they know, they're not stupid. They know what to look for. They know what to present to you. Now, a lot of people want to think that demonic entities are just middle-aged nonsense, that they don't exist. Well, then you're calling Christ a liar. I didn't make demons up. I didn't create them out of thin air. This is not my creation. I'm telling you and this is not the church's creation. A lot of people who are the naysayers will immediately attack the church and say, well, the church has created demons just to scare people, to give more money in the plate. No, this was a ministry that Christ commanded his disciples to do. It was not the church. This was well established before the church. So just keep in mind, you don't need, I have friends, people ask me all the time, what about psychics and mediums? I have friends that are truly gifted. No doubt about it. I've talked about this before. I was there. I actually, when I was a chaplain for a major city, a police chaplain, I was present when a medium told the police where they could find a body. They had a missing body. They couldn't obviously locate the person. I was present I was there on the scene with the family, because they wanted me to be there with the family to keep them from obviously going into the crime scene, because they didn't want it, just messed up, or they just wanted them to, kind of stay away from it. The medium told them where they could find the corpse. Now they dug, and they were 5 feet from where the medium told them where they would find him. I can't explain that. I can't explain it. I can tell you that it gave the family peace of mind because now they were able to bury their loved one properly. But I can't explain psychic mediums. But you don't. I understand. I do understand the desire to want to get that last message. And I've been in the paranormal for a long, long time. The first time I investigated was 35 years ago. So I've met a lot of people in the paranormal, a lot of very famous psychic mediums, a lot of not so famous. It doesn't matter if they're famous to me or not. I met a lot of people. And my opinion on this definitely has changed obviously in the 35 years. You don't need to go to anyone. Just be at peace, knowing that they are resting peacefully in heaven. Because what happens, the temptation is then to go to people who claim to be psychic medium. And let me just give you, I'm going to be very blunt here, and I'm not going to make a lot of people happy with this. There are legitimate psychic mediums out there who are absolutely gifted. No question. There's a lot of fraud too. There is a lot of fraud. When I started in the paranormal, when I went public with my ministry 20 years ago, there were very few people, very few. Thank you very much. Thank you, Aaron Grace. There were very, very few people who claimed to be psychic medium. There are very few people who claimed to be demonologist. And there were actually only 2 exorcists. Actually, just me and Father Andrew Calder. I was there. I know how many people were in the paranormal. I was active. And Father Andrew Calder did not want to perform exorcism. He wasn't called to perform exorcism. That wasn't his calling. I know how many people were there. And it was only me and Father Andrew. That's it. Me and Andy. Now it seems every single paranormal team has a demonologist. Every single paranormal team now has a person who claims to be psychic medium. And now you have people who claim to be psychic mediums who are performing rituals that they have no business performing. And now you have people who claim to be psychic mediums who all of a sudden, now they're experts in demonology. I don't know how that happened. I don't know where this comes from, where you have people who are psychic mediums who are performing rituals that are strictly reserved for an exorcist. They have no business performing these rites. None. And people say, well, Bishop, that's not very nice. I didn't write the solemn rite of exorcism, so don't get mad at me. I'm just telling you what the solemn rite of exorcism says. Folks, let me just say, and I'll get to your questions in just a second. But one of the things that I do, I shoot right from the hip. I don't cover anything up. I don't hide anything. I tell you exactly how I feel so that you don't have to guess. The first mention of exorcist as an office comes from Pope Cornelius in 253. We actually see the first rite, the first form of exorcism, the rite of exorcism, that was written in 1614. This is an ancient ritual. And there's the thing called rubrics. Rubrics are rules. And you have to follow those rules in order to use that particular rite. This rite, the solemn rite of exorcism, in the rubrics, the rules, says, if you are not a validly ordained priest who has been given permission by the local ordinary, which is the bishop, to perform this rite, then you have no business even reading it. Now, people can get mad all you want. I didn't write, I wasn't alive in 1614. I didn't write it. But I'm telling you what the rite says. I wouldn't perform a shamanic ritual. I'm not a shaman. I have no business performing a shamanic ritual any more than people who claim to be psychic and medium performing rites that are reserved for clergy who are actually trained in that ritual. But what's happening is you have a lot of people who are claiming to be psychic mediums who are now going around performing rituals they have no business performing. And then they have major issues going on. They wonder why. Well, stop playing exorcist. And you got to remember, this is a very, very, very dangerous. A fake exorcist. I want to remind you on Acts chapter 19, verse 13 through 16. Look it up. Acts chapter 19, verse 13 through 16. There were individuals claiming to be exorcists, and they're casting out demons. And they came across a man. And the person, it was the 7 sons of Jewish high priest named Sceva. And they were the ones doing this. And the demonic looked right at them and said, Jesus I know, and Paul I recognize, but who are you? And then the demonic leaped on those individuals, really beat them viciously, and they fled out of the house naked and wounded. Now, people say, well, it doesn't matter. I'm a Christian. So therefore, if I'm a Christian, I can perform this rite. Well, no, the rules of the rite says you can't. It's a reserved sacred ritual that should not be sensationalized. It should never be done on camera, ever, for entertainment purposes. That's blasphemy. There are some lines we got to stop. There are some sacred lines that we're crossing as a culture, as a community. We got to knock that off. We got to stop that. There are some things that need to be reserved and respected. But in our society, it's all about sensationalism. It's all about getting the viewers. It's all about trying to get as many people to click that and to watch it. And immediately, demon. Everything is demon, according to many of these groups now. Every single case that so many of these paranormal groups do, everything is demon. That's not true. And will you please stop pretending that you know what the hell you're doing when it comes to demonology? You're not trained. You haven't been trained. So leave it alone and stop calling yourself a demonologist when you are as much of a demonologist as my dog who is buried. It's to me, it's frustrating. And I think it's unethical. I think it's very unethical because you have individuals who are coming into people's homes and these people are terrified. They are truly terrified. And you're passing yourself off, not you, but an individual is passing themselves off as an expert in demonology. And the only training that they have ever had in demonology is going on YouTube, watching YouTube videos. And you know darn well what I'm saying is true. If you're in the paranormal field, you know this is true. But people don't want to say this because it doesn't make them popular. I don't care about popularity. I don't care. I don't do this for popularity purposes. I do it because I want to help people. But I'm telling you what I see as an exorcist. I see a lot of people going around playing exorcist and then screwing things up, making things worse. And I'm the one I'm one of the few people that I get the phone calls where I have to go in and fix this crap. And it's frustrating because the caseload already is heavy enough. And now I have to do cleanup. No, it's got to stop. It's very, 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 very frustrating. And you have to understand, people say, well, I'm a Christian, so therefore I can go perform an exorcism. No, you can't. No, you can't. And I'll tell you why. Here's what people forget. Well, I'm a Christian, I can perform exorcism. Oh, really? Well, do you remember the part in Scripture where Jesus cast the Holy Spirit upon his disciples and then told them to cast out demons? He bestowed the Holy Spirit upon them first. That's called ordination. And then commissioned them to perform exorcisms. People seem to forget that. And if you play exorcist because I'm a Christian, so therefore I can go perform exorcism. Okay, fine. Go do it. And then when you kill somebody because they've had a heart attack or stroke and you have no idea what you're doing because you're playing exorcist because you're a Christian, you can do it, and then you're held up for involuntary manslaughter charges, don't come crying to me. Don't come whining to me, because I'm telling you now, you can't do it, and nor should you do it unless you are trained. And if you're not trained, then leave it alone. There. That's my oh, good question, Carol. Good question about the difference between a deliverance and exorcism. Appreciate that question. Thank you. That's actually a great question, especially because it leads into now. Can a Christian perform a deliverance? The answer is yes. That's where people get confused between a deliverance and an exorcism. So yes, the answer, Christians can most certainly perform deliverances. So what's the difference? There's a huge difference between a deliverance and an exorcism. Okay, so let's talk about that, because you guys need to know this. Or if you're interested in demon, obviously this is what I've devoted my entire life to this. So a deliverance, there are 3 stages to possession. I've talked about this before. First, there's demonic infestation. So let's say that you go out, let's say you watch a paranormal show, okay, and you want to go out and investigate. You just want to see what it's about. You just want to check to see if it really does happen. Again, not a good idea, but okay. So you go out and you go to a place that's known to have demonic infestations. Don't be scary. And you go to that place and is there anybody here? Can you make a noise? Can you do something? That's called invitation, by the way. And that's what the demonic entity needs to attach itself to you. That's the invitation. Simply by saying, is there anyone here? Can you do something? That's the invitation. So now you have what's called an attachment. The demonic has attached itself to you. You now leave, you go home. The demonic, because it has attached itself, is now infested within your home. So what happens during infestation? Religious objects are desecrated. You will have horrible smell, sometimes the smell of sulfur or even rotten flesh. It's putrid. There will be bangings in threes. Like when I was on Ghost Adventures, I talked, on Bobby Mackey's, I told Zach many times, you got to stay away from this stuff. And because he had 3 scratches on the back, and that's a mock of the Trinity. And now everybody contacts me, said, I have 3 marks. I have 3 scratches on me. It's a demon. No, there's other things to that besides the 3 marks. But anyway, so there's bangings on 3. The animals are terrified. There's overwhelming oppression. Then you have what's called demonic obsession and demonic oppression. Demonic oppression, demonic obsession, that's when the demonic begins to attack an individual. Okay, now this is important to know. So the demonic is, you begin to hear the demonic will talk to you. You actually hear it. It mimics schizophrenia. It will tell you that you're ugly, that no one loves you. It isolates you from your family, your friends. Complete isolation. And then it attacks you physically. Okay, that's called demonic oppression. So demonic obsession is when it begins to attack your intellect. Demonic oppression is when it begins to attack you physically. So it begins to bite you, scratch you, pinch you, punch you. It will attack your sleep. It's trying to break the will down. So I've talked about this before. This is past sleep deprivation. Far past sleep deprivation. This is total exhaustion where your immune system is so compromised because you can't get sleep, you can't get rest, and it's constantly attacking you intellectually and physically. Emotionally, spiritually, it's attacking everything. That's now. And then, of course, once the intellect and will of the person is broken down, then that's when you have possession. A deliverance is performed on an individual under the second stage, demonic obsession and demonic oppression. You pray for a deliverance, a removal of that attachment. That's not an exorcism. That is a deliverance. So the demonic has attached, the demonic is attacking the intellect and will. You pray. Now, There are two types when you're talking about individual exorcisms. There's what's called supplicating exorcism and imperative exorcism. And a supplicating exorcism is a prayer directed to God. And you're asking God to deliver that person from this attachment. An imperative exorcism, you're commanding it in the name. So you're standing in persona Christi, in the person of Christ, and you're demanding in the name of Christ that it is gone. So deliverances are prayed for individuals who are under the stage of oppression. An exorcism, which is called the solemn rite, is performed on an individual whose intellect and will has already been eradicated. They're at a very weakened state. That's dangerous. The possibility of the person having a heart attack, stroke, severe dehydration, very high. That is why I have people who are medically trained with me when I'm performing an exorcism on someone. They have to be present. They have to monitor the vitals of the person. I'm not trained medically, so I don't know if a person is going into a heart attack. I don't know if they're going into a stroke. I don't know, but they will know. They do the oxygen level. They do the temperature. They do, of course, the blood pressure. They are monitoring, and they're making sure this person is, because dehydration is something that happens, and it happens very quickly. And the reason, because most of you have seen the movie The Exorcist. Well, that's actually legitimate as far as throwing up, the pea soup. That does happen. It's not the pea soup, obviously, but severe dehydration occurs because the demonic will cause the person to regurgitate violently. So if you're trying to Gatorade or some type of substance that has these very important vitamins and nutrients it needs to keep the body strong, the demonic wants to prolong the agony. So they're not going to allow that to enter the body. And that's why the person becomes violently sick, and they will regurgitate. Some will have chronic diarrhea. I mean, it is an extreme form of dehydration. And it's done that because it doesn't want substance of life to enter the body. Thankfully, no one has gone into heart failure. I've performed 30 exorcisms, and there were a couple that we had to stop, because the person was becoming so dehydrated through regurgitation that we had to stop the rite, and we had to, get them some IV fluid, because the dehydration was starting to get serious. But as far as individuals who have died, thank God, only through the grace of God, the 30 exorcisms that I have performed, none of them have passed. Keep in mind, I've done this for 20 years, and I've performed 30 exorcisms. Please understand, possession is rare. This whole idea that possession is just rampant, that it's everywhere, it's simply not true. It's not true at all. It just isn't. I can tell you, because I'm in the field. I do this full time. I have thousands and thousands of emails. I don't know how many emails I have now. Let me check. 7,991 emails. 7,991. And well, there you go. And that's one email. That's the email that people contact me to tell me that they have a demonic entity, they have demons in their homes, or that they're being attacked demonically. That's almost 8,000 emails, plus over 12,000 messages on TikTok, and over 800 messages on Facebook. And I'm telling you, the reason I'm telling you this is because I try to go through as many as I possibly can. I'm only one person. But because I've been doing this for 20 years, I performed 30 exorcisms. That should tell you how rare this is. And it truly is rare. But it does happen. And so I have not, people were asking me, have I seen an increase in demonic possession? No, I have not. I have not seen an increase in demonic possession. I would tell you if I did, but I have not. I have seen an increase in demonic influence. And I have seen an increase in poltergeist activity. But I have not seen an increase in demonic possession. By the way, have you ever not been able to exorcise? Good question. Thank God, the 30 exorcisms that I have performed, they have been successful. But I'm fully aware that, and remember, while I was seeing the very beginning of the show, I was working with an elderly woman who had an incubus attack. That was God awful. And that really took a toll on me because I worked with her for 3 years and I couldn't get that completely delivered. I couldn't do it. But that's when my mentor kind of had to remind me, hey, look, James, you're not in charge here. It's God is in charge here. So God will deliver the person in God's time. It's not in your time. So I had to learn humility and just kind of understand that I'm there as a servant, and whenever the person is delivered, they're delivered. And so I can't beat myself up, and it's not me delivering the person. It is God delivering them. Now I have seen influence, an increase in demonic influence. People have asked me, well, okay, when you're talking about demonic activity, and there really is two types of demonic activity. There's what's called ordinary demonic activity. Ordinary demonic activity is when, let's say that you're struggling with alcohol. Okay. Or let's say you struggle with lust and you're married. Well, what the demonic will do, the demonic will creep in. Come on, it's not so bad if you say hello to her or say hello to him. It's not so bad. Just say hello. And you kind of go down that path that, hey, how you doing? And the demonic keeps, come on, why don't you ask him out to just go out for a beer? And before you know it, you're doing something that you shouldn't do, and you broke your vows. And now keep in mind, I want to make this very clear. A lot of people then want to put the blame on the demonic and say, well, I don't want to take responsibility for my own actions. It's the demons. Well, no, it's a heresy. That's not true at all. We are all responsible for our own actions. We may have demonic influence, but that doesn't mean we may be all tempted, but that doesn't mean you have to fall into temptation and actually commit that act. That's your choice. It's free will. So, but the demonic will absolutely attack on the weaknesses, no question. And that is when you do make mistakes that you shouldn't have done. So that's ordinary demonic activity. And then there is extraordinary demonic activity. And extraordinary demonic activity is what I refer to about demonic infestation, demonic oppression, demonic possession. Okay. So yeah, I did know Lorraine Warren. She was a friend of mine. I loved Lorraine. She was a sweetheart. She was a firecracker of a woman, and I'm confident that she is resting peacefully in heaven. But yeah, she was this very, very special person. I did not know Ed. Didn't get a chance to meet and talk with him, but I did Lorraine. So, yep. Yeah, from the Conjuring movies. They're a lot of people, a lot of haters out there are going to say whatever they're going to say about Ed and Lorraine, but I can tell you when, they were pioneers in this field, and they were the ones answering the phone calls, helping families when no one else would. So I think there should be some respect there, All right. But did I get sick during the process? Did I get sick? No. Are you referring to the exorcisms? Well, thank you, I really appreciate that. Yeah. So anyway, okay. So that's the story with Ed and Lorraine. Now, what I was talking about, yes, no, I did not get sick. Now, the demonic was attacking me, no question. can we donate so you can use something you need for you, like groceries? Oh, Swiper Wiper. I appreciate that. Swipe, is it Swiper Wiper 3? Thank you. That's very kind. I don't accept donations from me, but I do appreciate that. I truly do. I have a zero, and the reason is I just have a zero. Kind of like, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. It's a very, I got to be very careful. If it's used for ministry, I'm okay with that. But as far as personal, I just, that's why I never charge. I don't ever receive anything like that, because I don't ever want the demonic to use that as a way of trying to justify, well, now I need this, and now I need this, and oh, maybe I can go on vacation. And so I kind of just shut that down altogether, and but I do appreciate it. Very kind, very, very kind of you. I'm okay as far as my personal expenses. I live a very simple life. Anyone who knows me knows that I literally, it's pretty simple. I'm a Benedictine. So for me, simplicity is how I live my life. And I try to keep it as simple and less complicated as I possibly can. But that's, that's, it just, it's one of those things that's why I don't ever charge. I never will. Because the moment that you say to a family that's struggling, well, it's going to be $1,000. And then you're going to say, well, 2,000. Well, I can do 5,000. And it doesn't stop. And that's where the demonic will creep in. And that falls on ordinary demonic activity. And I can't do that. So, icons, I do. I have icons that you're referring to. I also have relics. I have a first-class relic of St. Francis. So I do have that. Poltergeist, Real Adam Pio is asking, and yes, Adam, a demonic has attacked me during an exorcism. Poltergeist come from, let me say something. This is important because I've actually had quite a few poltergeist cases. Poltergeist, technically, it means noisy ghost. It's not a ghost at all. It's not a demon. I don't care what anyone else tells you. I'm telling you, I've done this for a long time. I have had quite a few poltergeist cases. There's a lot of people going around saying poltergeists are demons. No, they are. No, it is not. And I have the data to back it up. I've had quite a few poltergeist cases. I could perform 1 million minor rite of exorcisms on 1 million, and nothing will happen because it's not demonic. There's the solemn rite of exorcism. That's an exorcism that's performed on a demonic entity that has taken possession of the body. Then there's called the minor rite of exorcism. There's no such thing as performing an exorcism on a house or a building. It doesn't exist. That's nonsense. You can't perform an exorcism on a building. You can bless a building. You perform an exorcism on the demonic entity or malevolent spirit that has infested itself within the building. So the minor rite of exorcism is an exorcism that's performed on that. Now, on individuals who have a poltergeist situation, it mimics very, very closely. It will mimic demonic infestation, a demonic attack. But there's different. It's different in that with poltergeist, religious objects are not desecrated. With poltergeist, you don't hear bangings of 3 as a form of mocking of the Trinity. With the poltergeist activity, many times it's not directed at one individual or individuals. The activity, for example, when you have a demonic infestation or malevolent spirit, well, let's just say demonic for explanation purposes. When you have a demonic infestation, you will have religious objects desecrated. You will have bangings of 3. There will be you will have sulfur with poltergeist activity. Sulfur doesn't occur, or the smell of rotten flesh. That does not occur with poltergeist activity. With a demonic entity, when it moves an object, it doesn't move an object for the purpose of saying, hey, look how powerful I am. Aren't you scared? No, when it moves an object, someone is the target of that object. So whether it be a picture, or whether it be a pen, or whether it be a chair, whatever it is, there is the person is the object, the target, the point of that object moving. With the poltergeist, it's not the case. Poltergeist means noisy ghost. It's not a ghost. at all. It's energy. It's negative energy. So what happens is someone or a family may be going through extreme emotional stress. There's a lot of fighting. There's extreme stress. Then what you'll have is you'll have a lot of poltergeist activity, meaning that there will be loud. The door will open and slam. You could have chairs being thrown, but there's no target. It's just being thrown. There's a variety of things that could occur. But remember, it's not directed at an individual. It's the energy that is emitted. People say, well, that's just nonsense. It's not. And I've said this before. You're walking down the street. You see someone on the opposite side of the road. You don't know them. And you know you don't want to know them. They are emitting such negative energy. You're like, no, I'm going to kind of go over there. That's energy. That's energy. Same way a person walks into a room, doesn't have to say a word. Their very presence is so powerful and positive, people flock to that person. That's positive energy. Einstein even talked about energy. This has nothing to do with the paranormal, it's energy. By the way, the number one form of destruction with poltergeist is fire. So what will happen is I could bless the home a million times and nothing will happen. It won't stop. You remove, and this is very important. Let's say that you find the person who's going through the emotional stress. You remove them from the home, activity will dramatically stop. Or there might be residual energy there, but for the residual energy is energy that continues, but it's on a very, very low level. But you put that person right back into the home, the activity just amplifies times it explodes again. That doesn't happen with demonic infestation. You can remove the person from the home, but the demonic infestation, the activity still occurs. So therefore, there is, and this is all the data, this is all from all my cases that I'm teaching you guys. So you bring that person back in, and then all hell breaks loose again. Basically, the only way to remedy a poltergeist situation is to get the individual or individuals who are going through extreme emotional stress is to get them counseling. That's the only way. Every single case that I have worked with poltergeist, and I've had quite a few, every single one of them, once you find out that there is extreme emotional stress going on, and then you get them the help, the activity stops. Everyone. I don't even have to say a prayer. Now, can a demonic entity attach itself to that energy? Yeah, but it doesn't need to. Demonic entities are not, they're not contingent upon that negative energy to move things. Remember, when something is moved in the spirit world, that takes a lot of energy, a lot. Because remember, it's on a physical, that's on a spiritual realm, not a physical realm. But the demonic can manipulate the physical. That takes a tremendous amount of energy to do this, for a human spirit to move something. Now, can a malevolent human spirit or malevolent spirit attach itself to that poltergeist energy and cause even havoc? Absolutely, it can. But the demonic is not, it's not contingent. It doesn't need that poltergeist energy to amplify it. It doesn't need it. So there we go. Okay. Well, that's a good question, Chris. Chris is asking just general counseling. Well, I wouldn't say general. The hard part, if you're an investigator, one of the hardest parts on the poltergeist case is to finally get the family or the individual to admit what's going on. And that's sometimes I've had cases where I worked it for a couple months. I'm like, man, I'm trying to. And then finally the person opens up and tells me, well, this is happening and this is happening. And I'm like, all right. I wish you would have told me a couple months ago. We could have fixed this. But people have to trust you. And I understand it takes time. I understand. But once you get them the counseling they need for whatever they're going through, the activity will stop. And you'll see it stop. Let me turn the air conditioner on. I have a little portable air conditioner because I'm getting really hot. One second. Bear with me. Hold on, everybody. Yeah, it's getting a little warm in here. So I think, whoo. because I'm obviously in a blazer and a shirt and undershirt, and it's like, okay, these lights. Well, the lights are actually off because my iMac is acting silly. But anyway, all right. So that's what you do. That is what you do, and you go from there. Well, thank you very much, Beverly. I appreciate that. Thank you. Banging on your ceiling. What is that? Okay. Someone's asking me, what if you have a lot of banging on your ceiling? What is that? Well, there's a couple things. First of all, let me just say this. Remember, I do not believe everything is demonic. I don't believe it. I haven't. As a matter of fact, the majority of cases that I have worked, I have debunked the activity. I am a skeptic. I mean, really. I'm a really extreme, and I have to be, guys, because remember, I have 8,000 email messages and 12,000 messages on TikTok and 800 messages on Messenger, and people telling me that they're possessed. So you got to understand, a lot of times, it's not the case, 99% of the time. So I am an extreme skeptic, extreme, and I have to be. Because otherwise, I think every single case is demonic, and that's not the case. It's just not the case. There are demonic, obviously, cases that do exist, and people always tell me, well, that there's no such thing. That you're just, you're doing this, you're just doing this for whatever reason. I'm like, okay, well, first of all, I don't charge. I never have. I've been on a lot of television shows. I don't charge, and I spend my own money on getting to people's homes. And they say, well, yeah, you're doing this for fame because you have 600,000 people following you on TikTok. And I don't get paid. I don't. And okay. I don't care if it's 600,000 or if it's one. If I'm making an impact with one person, that's all I need. One person at a time. It has never, ever, ever been about numbers for me. Never. And I just, it's never been that for me. People have attacked and said, you're doing this for ego. When you do something for ego purposes, you're doing it also for monetary, for fame. I don't do this for fame. There is no fame. I can go to the store. Nobody knows who I am. I mean, it's so stupid. Some people, I don't know. Anyway. I don't work with the Knights of Columbus, but they are a wonderful organization. They have helped a lot of people. They have helped a lot of folks. And the Knights of Columbus, they really are. There's a lot of people, saying Knights of Columbus or this or that, and that's simply not true. That's simply not true. Okay, let me just say this. Demonic entities, and this is very important, demons are not people. Demons are not individuals. It's absolutely 1,000,000% they are not. There is a belief. Okay, so let me go back into philosophy. There's a Philo, Josephus, and some early Christian writers and even Greek writers believe that demons were the spirits of deceased evil people. Not true at all. Not true. Because as a matter of fact, Scripture makes that very, very clear in Luke chapter 16, verse 23. And I believe it's Hebrews chapter 9, verse 27. It's very clear that people who are evil are in Hades. And that's what it says in Scripture. So the idea that they are human people are evil, no, they're not. First of all, and then there's another argument that they are the a race before Adam and Eve. It's based on the gap theory. Between Genesis chapter 1, verse 1 and chapter 1, verse 2. And because Genesis chapter 1, verse 3 describes the recreation. That's absolutely not correct. The problem with this view, it believes that the original creation of humanity fell and now they're the spirits of demons. Nope. The problem with the view is it really depends on humanity prior to Genesis 1 and 2. And Scripture doesn't say that at all. There's no biblical warrant for that at all. And by the way, Romans chapter 5, verse 12 is very, very clear that it was through Adam and not some pre-Adam race. Now, also, there was the belief that they are the Nephilim. They are the offspring of angels and women. Folks, that is stupid. Okay, I'm not, again, you can, most of you like me because I shoot from the hip. I don't play around with this. That is absolutely idiotic. And I'll tell you why it's idiotic. And first of all, the reason is people will say this is because they're selling something. They're selling crap. They're selling their videos, or they want you to click on the YouTube or whatever because they want to get likes and get paid for. Folks, they are not, the Nephilim were not offspring of angels and women. And I can prove this to you. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to prove it to you. All right. First of all, Matthew verse 22, verse 30, and Mark chapter 12, verse 25 is very clear. It says, angels in heaven neither marry nor are given in marriage, and therefore cannot have sexual relations with women. That's number one. So if you're going to use the Bible as a way to say, oh, it's offspring of angels, you can't take the Bible out of the equation if you're talking about offspring of angels and women, because it's referring to the book of Enoch. Well, there's a problem with that, and I'll tell you why. So here we go. Genesis chapter 6, verse 4 actually answers who the Nephilim were. Did you know that? All these stupid videos out there on YouTube and whatever, on television, the Nephilim were giant. They were giants of offsprings of angels and women. Oh, shut up. No, they weren't. Genesis chapter 6, verse 4 answers it does not. Okay. Genesis 6, verse 4 says that the Nephilim existed before and after the alleged activity where angels laid with women. So the Nephilim already existed before that event allegedly even occurred. So therefore, they could not have been the offspring of angels and women because they existed beforehand. So Genesis chapter 6, verse 4. And also, by the way, so you can see that that's just stupid. So why does this happen? I'll tell you why. 3rd century BC and 2nd century BC, people misinterpreted Nephilim. And that's how the culture belief was incorporated into the book of Enoch, that many people believe that the Nephilim were giant offsprings of angels and women. But by the way, Paul even mentions the Nephilim. Okay, so for those of you who didn't know this, Paul actually says this, and he says that you should not misinterpret Nephilim at all because the book of Enoch existed prior to Paul. So Paul was very aware of it because he says in 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7, 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7, he says this: don't argue over endless genealogies and foolish myths like the Nephilim. Because in the book of Enoch, the genealogy of these demons or the offspring of angels and women, the genealogy because I've read the book of Enoch, it's very long to try to show you, see, these are the offsprings of angels and women. And Paul says that is so stupid. That is so stupid. So he says in 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 4, and 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7, don't argue over endless genealogies and foolish myths like Nephilim. So that is a direct reference to the book of Enoch, because that Enoch, again, has a long genealogy of angels to Satan. And the book of Enoch, and also the book of Enoch, the reason is it's not in the Bible because for that, but it also puts the blame of sin on demons and not on our free will. So now you have as Paul Harvey said, the rest of the story. That is the Nephilim. They are not offspring of angels and women. And Paul even says it's all ridiculous anyway, so don't even have a conversation. So no, that actually in Greek, Nephilim means fierce warriors. That's what they mean. So the people at that time obviously knew who the Nephilim were. There were a lot of mingling of cultures during this time. And this culture could have had larger, stronger, bigger, taller people than the rest. And the Nephilim were just seen as fierce warriors. That is the proper translation, not giants. It just simply doesn't exist, guys. Sorry, it doesn't exist. So it makes the best, theologically speaking, they're fallen but unconfined angels. And that is what, and we see this because even Matthew chapter 12, verse 24, Lucifer is called Satan, the ruler of demons, and we just believe that's where you have. So there we go. Do I believe a lot of? Oh, thank you very much, Love and W. Thank you very much, and thank you again for all those who have given, who have donated to the ministry. Thank you on TikTok. I appreciate that, and for those of you who have donated on my website, I appreciate that as well. Again, go to Bishop James Long, Long, bishopjameslong.com. And you can scroll down and make whatever donation that you want to help the ministry. I certainly would appreciate that. I do have to buy a webcam, and I'm not happy about that because my camera on my iMac is going bad. And the iMac is old. It's a very, very old iMac. And it's just things like that happen. So I'm going to have to, I can't buy an iMac. I don't have the funds. There's just no way I can do that. So I'm just going to have to buy a webcam and kind of go from there. Yeah. That's a good question. Goliath. Yeah. Goliath could be considered the Nephilim. Well, but Goliath also, I mean, he was a fierce warrior, but he was very large as well. A lot of people could think Goliath, and even people even said Goliath was an offspring of an angel of women, and that's just simply not true. Good question. You guys are asking great questions, by the way. Matt's, is it M-A-T-S Traz? Can a demon who is cast out possess another person? No, Matt in Boston, they cannot. And here's why. When a demonic, so during the rite of exorcism, if it's successful, the demonic, the intellect and will of the demonic and the intellect and will of the exorcist are at battle. Because remember, the person who's possessed, their intellect and will is already eradicated. So they can't fight the demonic because they're at a weakened state. Because remember that process. So the intellect and will of the exorcist, the intellect and will of the demonic are doing battle during this rite. But keep in mind that the exorcist, we're not alone. That is why we pray what's called the Litany of Saints prior to performing an exorcism. We are invoking the names of all the saints and angels above in heaven to help stand with us, by us, side by side to fight this demonic. Because on my own, I couldn't defeat a demonic. There's just no way. So we call upon the help of the angels and saints above in heaven who are standing side by side. That is why we pray the Litany of Saints. Now, and the Litany of Saints is beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let me, I didn't bring my speaker in here. Let me see if I have it. Hold on one second. I will play a verse, or one of the versions that I love. I absolutely love this. The Litany of Saints is one of my. It's a hard to me when we play the Litany of Saints during ordinations. Well, thank you, Debbie. And it's so beautiful. It's difficult for me to keep a dry eye. I have a really hard time because it's so beautiful. All right, let me turn this on here. This is a version. This is by Veronica Morrissey.
Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy, Christ have mercy, Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy. Mary and Joseph, Michael and angel,
God, it's beautiful. Man, that is.
Moses, John the Baptist, Isaac, Sarah, Abraham, Jacob, Joseph, Samuel, Ruth, David, and Solomon, Isaiah, Jeremiah.
I tell you what, if you've never been to an ordination, and I got to tell you, when that is played, I have such a hard time to keep the tears from, because I do. And sometimes I can't. I mean, it is just, it's so powerful during an ordination, because that is a time that the person is about to be ordained, and we are invoking the angels. We are invoking the saints. We are asking them to be present with us as we lay hands on this person, that they are all laying hands with us. My God, is that powerful? I mean, I get chills every time. Yeah, I can't even, I can't describe it. I can't describe it. Now, there's also, there is a litany of the saints that I do. Let me see if, this is the chant that I pray. So that's the chant that I pray on the exorcisms. And, obviously there's a difference between the two, but you're still invoking the saints. You're still invoking the angels. It's still just the same thing. It's just a different, it's a chant. So that's what I, but someone was asking me, do I think Putin is possessed? I certainly think that we have a lot of world leaders who seem to be under the influence. I mean, of demonic influence. I don't understand hate. I don't understand hate. And I don't understand how anybody could kill. I don't know, but I think it's clear to me that there's something not right. Whether it be some people claiming that he has cancer, I don't know all that, but there's something evil. There's something there. Oh yeah. Someone was asking me about, can someone, Matt in Boston asked, what about demons? Can they then repossess someone? No. And here's why. What happens during, at least theologically, this is the explanation theologically. What happens when an exorcism is successful, the exorcist, along with the angels and saints above and the church, through the rite, have eradicated the intellect and will of the demon. The demon gives its name, and now the exorcist has full control of the situation and its identity. Now, oftentimes the demonic will give you a fake name, but you continue the rite. The ritual, it's not... The ritual is it's a repetitive prayer. It's a repetitive over and over and over. And you use the sacramentals of the church. You use the oil. You use the incense. You use the holy water. It's a constant. It's repetitive until eventually the demonic will give you its name. The individual is able to receive the sacraments and communion, and ultimately the demonic is cast out of this person. The demonic surrenders to the crucifix, surrenders to Christ. And we believe in Revelation, it talks about how they will be thrown into the lake of sulfur. Keep in mind, demonic entities have already been judged. They've already been condemned. And so now it is their punishment through being thrown into the lake of sulfur. Because Revelation talks about how in the end that demonic entities will be thrown into the lake of sulfur. That's why sulfur often is... you'll smell sulfur when you have demonic entities. So, how it can, Jiddle, Beck +1. How long does it take? It could take months. I mean, it could take hours. It could take weeks, days. We just, you never know. It's one of those things you just simply, you don't know. Yeah, that's the problem. Well, because what will happen eventually is that you continue the rite until the individual is able to receive the sacraments. And then you just the ritual again. The ritual is a continuation. It's a continual prayer, and then the person is able to receive the Blessed Sacrament. About Parliament opening in prayer, I'm not really for sure. The horns heard around the world. I'm skeptical of. People ask me a lot about what do I think about, is it the end times and things of this nature. Arlene, have a great day. Guys, I don't worry about that. And I hope that none of you don't worry about that. Don't panic. Remember, Jesus said himself, remain calm. These things will happen. There will be rumors of wars. There will be kingdoms against kingdoms. And he says this. And it reminds us, as a matter of fact, I was reading this week. And it reminds us that we have to just stay calm, as he said, and just know that this is prophecy taking place. And if, in fact, the end time is happening, if it's going to happen a minute from now, I'm at peace. I'm ready to go. Whenever God says it's time, I am ready to go. Thank you, Christine. And I want you to be at peace too, and not be panicky, not be full of anxiety. I know a lot of you are especially with the situation with Russia, and you're thinking, "Oh my gosh, is this the end?" Don't panic. Just don't give in to that fear. If you have the love of God in your heart, and if you love your neighbor and you love others, that doesn't mean we sin. We all sin, but you ask for repentance. You ask for God for his forgiveness. Just be at peace. Don't worry about this. Because and that's okay. You can California XOXO ask as many questions as you want, but just I don't want people getting so caught up. See what's happening. People immediately are going to social media, and they're putting these videos out. This is it. This is the end of the world. This is World War III. This is nuclear. We're all going to die. And they're folks, they're doing just to scare you. That's all they're doing this for. And Jesus reminds us, stay calm. Stay calm. These things are going to happen, but you're okay. You're okay. If it happens now, that's okay. If it happens tomorrow, that's okay. Just don't get so fearful of it that you become so filled with anxiety. Don't do that. If anybody who turns away from God, people are asking, well, how can you help them? One thing you don't want to do is you don't want to preach at them. You don't want to preach to someone who's turned away from God. You don't. Because the moment that you start preaching to them, then they're going to turn away. There's a reason why they've turned away from God in the first place. I always, no matter what, no matter if a person is an atheist or whatever it is, if they talk to me and they want to know, I want to know their life. I want to know what happened. I want to know where was it in their life that made them say, okay, I'm done with God. I'm finished. What happened? What happened in their life? Something happened. And I want to know this without judging, without condemning. I don't want them to be defensive. I just want to learn. I want to learn their story, because a lot of times it could be a situation where they've been in a church and the church condemned them. There's now that ridiculous pastor, and I use that term loosely, who's now condemning people in his own parish, calling them out. Actually calling people out, calling them witches and all this other stuff. That is satanic. That's evil. That is just pure evil to do that to somebody. And that could actually cause that person to lose faith in God, because this pastor that they trust is calling them out in front of the entire congregation and embarrassing them. Well, that person could be the reason that individual turned away from God. So I just, to me, that's appalling that anybody would do that. But unfortunately, they have, and they do. So what I do is I tell people, find out their story, get to know them, get to know what happened, show compassion, and then introduce them perhaps to the Christ that you love. You know, when you introduce them to a Jesus that doesn't condemn people, the Jesus that I'm in love with is a Jesus that defends the lepers, the outcast, the ones who are told that they're not welcome in a church community, the ones that are sick, the prostitutes, the sinners. That's the Jesus that I know. That's the Jesus that I know and love. Not a Jesus of condemnation and hate and anger and filled with rage. I mean, some of these pastors, when they start preaching, they are so full of rage. I'm thinking, my goodness, are you preaching the gospel? Or are you just ticked off because someone cut you off in traffic today? I mean, really, seriously. It's like, man, you got to take a chill pill. You got to take some Xanax or something. Because if you're talking about the gospel and you're mad and you're ticked off, you ain't preaching the gospel. That's just, you know. Okay. If you have a demonic attachment, and the question is, what can you do? I always tell people, of course, you need to pray to God, and certainly do that. You can pray the Hail Mary. You can also pray the St. Michael, the Archangel prayer. There's a short form and there's a long form. So, you know, St. Michael, the Archangel, defend us in battle, be our protection against the malice and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him. We humbly pray and do thou, O Prince of the heavenly host, thrust into hell Satan and all evil spirits who wander the world for the ruin of souls. So you can do the shorter form, which I just did. You can Google it, St. Michael prayer. There's a longer form too. But I would absolutely say the St. Michael prayer. And of course, the Our Father. And devote yourself to that every day. Every day. And you're right. Diana from Washington said it works. It truly does. It's a very powerful prayer, and it does work. Again, why not pray to Jesus? Well, that's why I said, number one, you pray to God. That's why I said that, because someone always asks me, why not pray to God? That's why I said, number one, you can pray to God, you know, but you can also ask St. Michael to intercede. It's the same. People ask me that all the time, and I don't know why they get offended when I say, you know, you can pray to St. Michael, and ask for intercession. Well, why not just pray to God? Okay, then why do you ask people to pray for you when you're sick? Why not just pray to God? You see, it's a little offensive. You pray certainly to God, but you also ask others to pray for you too. That's called intercessory prayers. So you ask them, and so it's the same thing with St. Michael. It's the same with the saints and angels above in heaven. You certainly do pray to God, but you absolutely pray for intercession. So there you go. It's the same thing. Okay. That's, yeah. By the way, there's a, I want to check something here. Here is a brand new, this is very interesting, and I want to pass this on to you guys, because some of you, I know you love the paranormal shows. So I want to pass this on to you guys to let you guys know. And this is, where is this from here? Let me see if I can find it on the futoncritic.com. Sorry, the futoncritic.com. That's where this comes from. It says here, listen to this. On the heels of its success in the UK, Discovery Plus, love them, announces the United States premiere of Help, My House is Haunted, Celebrity Edition. Folks, that's right. You heard me. It's coming to you guys. Paranormal investigators, Ian Lawman, Barry Guy, I think, and Jane Harris explore supernatural activity. There's 6 episode series, premieres March the 13th exclusively on Discovery Plus. So this is what the website says. It says shadowy figures, whispered threats, moving objects, and unexpected temperature drops. Can the unexplainable be explained? Well, leading paranormal investigators, exorcist and medium Ian Lawman, I don't know Ian, paranormal consultant Barry Guy, and the paranormal research of historian Jane Harris are on the quest to find out. The trio will use their supernatural specialties to investigate the haunted properties of some of UK's best known celebrities, such as Frankie Essex, Charlotte Crosby and Alex Best in an all-new season of Help, My House is Haunted, premiering March 13th on Discovery Plus. Now, it's not just the public that are plagued with unwanted paranormal activity. Celebrity homes are filled with hauntings too. In a quest like no other, the Help, My House is Haunted team are back in a supernatural extravaganza where top ghost hunting tech and daring divination will reveal the spirits lingering in an eclectic mix of celeb-owned properties, including it says the only way Essex stars Frankie Essex and Joe Essex investigates the sinister events. Blah blah blah. A singer actress 80s icon Toya Wilcox has experienced persistent paranormal activity in her Worcestershire, I guess it's an England home ever since she moved 20 years ago. So anyway, this apparently is coming to America, and there we go. You can check that out. It's Help, My House is Haunted Celebrity Edition. So there we have. Yeah. So, well, should you watch this? It's entirely up to you guys. If you're, I would tell anybody that if you are under paranormal attack, if you have demonic attack, demonic attachment, no, you shouldn't watch it. And I've said this for many years. And be honest with you, people who have demonic attachment or demonic attacks, demonic infestation, they don't want to watch shows like this because they're living it. So you can kind of go from there. By the way, for those of you who are paranormal enthusiasts, which obviously most of you are here because here we are. This is a website called lacrossetribune.com. Well, there's a thing going on here. Micon Budget Cinema in downtown Eau Claire is smaller than its counterparts in Chippewa Falls. It offers a very unique atmosphere. Well, for those of you in this area, one of the most unique film festivals in the Midwest is returning to Chippewa Valley for another look into the spooky, creepy, and shocking edges of the film industry. So the 6th annual Midwest Weird Fest is back in Eau Claire or whatever at Micon Downtown Cinema, taking place from Thursday through Sunday, March the 6th. Now, the event is a cinematic celebration of all things fantastic, frightening, paranormal, and just plain weird, showcasing horror, sci-fi, fantasy, mystery, and dramatic films from underground filmmakers from around the world. So there you go. If you're interested in this, it is the Midwest Weird Fest. It's called Midwest Weird Fest. Will feature 17 feature films from 80s to 90s shorts after receiving several hundred submissions, a record for the festival. Well, that's pretty cool. Including in this year's program is the world premiere of a new documentary entitled Alien Abduction Answers. So it features world-famous writer and alien abductee Whitley Strieber, author of the best-selling book Communion book series. Documentary is directed by John Yost, and Midwest Weird Fest will be first location viewers will have the chance to take it in. So there you go. If you're interested in this, you can look it up online, Midwest Weird Fest. And there we go. So at least it's something, if you're interested in going out, you're wanting to have a paranormal weekend, well, there you go. You can check that out and go from there. Okay. By the way, this is from Metro, and I don't know about that. I'm very skeptical of this. I haven't seen this, but I'm curious to see if you guys have. Tell me if you have. Well, this is from Metro. A spooky paranormal show starring Michael Parkinson was banned after being shown on the BBC, has resurfaced on TikTok and scaring the living daylights out of people again 30 years later. Again, this is from metro.co.uk. I don't know about this. On Halloween 1992, a horror mockumentary titled Ghost Watch saw Parky and Sarah Green present what appeared to be a live news report investigating paranormal activity at a family home. The report featured home footage of a ghost terrorizing two children in their bedroom, with their mother rushing to get them out of the house. Now, viewers at home, fooled by the episode, complained in their droves, with more than 30,000 calls being made to the BBC switchboard in an hour, as furious parents claimed their children had been left petrified. Quote, "Oh my gosh, I remember this so well. I didn't sleep for a week," recalled one viewer, while another went as far as claiming this is still the reason I wet the bed. Horror writer Stephen Volk was behind the stunt, initially planning a 6-episode horror before being asked to change it to a 90-minute program. I didn't see this. I'm just kind of curious if any of you guys have. I don't know. It's very interesting. By the way, I want to remind everybody, thank you very much. Do yourself a favor. Do not forget to go to kgradb.com. KG as in giraffe, RAD as in dog, B as in boy.com, KGRADB.com. Make sure you subscribe and use, was it Bishop? I think that's what it is. Bill, I think it's Bishop. Type in Bishop for the promo code and you get 30% off. 30% off your subscription. And there's a lot of really great shows there, really fantastic shows. So definitely make sure you do that. Go to kgradb.com and definitely subscribe. First of all, it's very inexpensive as it is, but you get 30% off. 30%. Just by typing in Bishop as the code. You can't beat that. And definitely do yourself a favor and check that out. Also, go to kgradb.com because my great friend Andrea Perrin, she is on right after me. And she grew up in the Conjuring house. I mean, it's pretty cool. Now, she is amazing. Andrea's amazing. She's just a sweetheart of a person. People love Andrea. Remember how I talked about how someone can walk in the room and not say a word and people just flock to her? She's the type of person that can do that. She walks into a room and people just radiate to her, not only because they know she's obviously the Conjuring, but because she just has this very positive energy. So she is next on kgradb.com. And you definitely want to come over and watch her show. She always has some amazing information on her shows. And she does a really great presentation. Yeah, The Conjuring. That's true. And she has some books out too. So you need to just go on over there, kgradb.com. Also, don't forget, go to Bishop James Long, LONG.com, and click on the store link and purchase your items today. We do have some items. I am getting the Benedictine bracelets in. They will be in the middle of March or so. But we do have items there, and you can certainly go pick that up, bishopjameslong.com. I'm not going to really talk about whether or not I think Zach is possessed, because Zach is a friend of mine. But I will tell you that Zach had some very serious violent activity in his home. He talked about that, which is good, because I talked to him and he did mention, I'm not going to go into details anymore about that because of his privacy. But it is dangerous. I've told him a million times. And anybody who goes to a place that's demonically infested and you make that invitation, remember, when you beat your chest out and say, come on, demon, I dare you to do something, you're not provoking, you're inviting. And as I explained to him, it's very dangerous. Shannon Long 30, are you going live 30? Are you going live 30? Shannon Long 30, are you going live after this presentation? Well, yeah, there's different rankings of demonic entities. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But yeah, let me know, Shannon Long 30, if you're going to be going live. And I will let people know. And that way they can kind of join you if they like. Just let me know if you're going to go live after this. And we'll go from there. For those of you who are on Spreaker, I will see you guys a little bit later, of course, for a Bible study, night prayer. That's a Bible study. I want to remind everybody, remember, tonight, Monday through Friday, I have night prayer. And please go visit us at Spreaker.com/show/night prayer. Night prayer is all one word. And I would love for you to come over and visit with us. Again, it's Spreaker.com/show/night prayer. My friends, I remind you all the time, your value does not decrease based on someone's inability or refusal to see your worth. You are priceless, and never let anyone tell you or convince you otherwise. Facebook, YouTube, God bless. The Sacred Division has been brought to you by Bishop Long's online paranormal course. Learn demonology, angelology, paranormal studies, and genealogy. It's 100% online, and you learn at your own pace. please go to www.bishopjameslong.com and click on the Paranormal Course link.